Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, good morning and welcome to the second day of the Research and Innovation Days, and more particularly to our session on Mission on Cancer, the co-design session. Why a mission for cancer? We are preparing Horizon Europe, the next framework program for research and innovation. And this new framework program has two new particular features. The European Innovation Council, you might have heard about it, but in particular also the missions. And the question you might ask yourself is, why does Europe focus on mission-oriented research? And I think the reasons are twofold. Firstly, we cannot afford that our research delivers results and impact. And secondly, our research needs to meet the expectations of our society and of our citizens. And this is why European Horizon Europe provides funding for so-called missions. We have identified areas for these missions, and I think you will agree that these missions are really of great interest for society. It's about climate change, it's about oceans, it's about healthy soil, it's about climate-neutral cities, and it is about cancer. Now, how should these missions look like? A key element of these missions is that they should be measurable and time-bound, and should address issues that are of key concern for our society. And I truly think that the cancer mission is one of these topics who really meets this yardstick. Now, we will not achieve in a time-bound horizon these objectives if we do not have the right governance. And for that purpose, we have set up the so-called mission boards. If we want to deliver results in terms of research and innovation, we cannot proceed as usual. It's decisive that in our research, we have evidently universities, we have research organizations, but we also need many other players in this area. And this is why we have established the mission boards. And the task of these mission boards is to identify, together with the universities, with research organizations, but also with stakeholders, the exact topic of what this mission should look like. And I think today you have the opportunity to co-design, together with members of the mission boards, these possible exact definition of the mission which we are heading to in the area of cancer. And I would really like to use this opportunity to thank the mission board members for their availability to have this exchange with you here today. So this brings me to the end already of my presentation. I would like now to introduce to you the two co-chairs of today's co-design session on the mission for cancer. It's Christine Chaumienne. She is a professor at the University of Paris in charge of cellular biology at University Paris Diderot, and Irene Norstedt, who is an acting director of our department in charge of people. So thank you very much. I'm really full of gratefulness to you to make these efforts to bring in your voices in the design of this very specific and important mission on cancer. Thank you very much. And I hand over to Christine and to Irene.
So good morning, everybody. Hello? Yes, now this is working. So good morning, everybody. It's great to see so many of you here in this session. where you will talk about the future mission on cancer. So I want to first remind you that we will be web streamed. It may be a bit difficult for the audience who are on the web to follow because you will discuss in groups in a little while, but we hope that it will go well. We will also use Slido towards the end of the session, so I hope that you have downloaded the app so that you also can use Slido. So this is really going to be your session, because you will really have an opportunity to feed in your thoughts and ideas of what this mission will be about. So you are now seated in 6 rings. These rings are reflecting the 3 areas that the mission board has thought that sort of the work could be done under. So these 3 areas are etiology and prevention. So you will have 2 groups who will discuss this, 2 groups to discuss improved cancer therapies, and 2 groups to talk about cancer survivors. So I hope you know which group you are seated in. It may be a bit difficult to change right now, so I hope you're happy with your seating arrangement. And before we kick off the discussion, because we want to spend as much time as possible on the discussions, I will ask Christine to tell a little bit about the work of the mission board. The mission board has had 1 meeting, and you will tell a little bit about what you have discussed so far.
So good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being here, and I see that the room is really full. So I'm Christine Chomian, and I'm Vice Chair of the Mission Board. I'm very happy to welcome you today with other members of the Mission Board who are here. Maybe could I ask the members of the Mission Board to stand up? There should be 1 in each group. Annelise, Stefan, Fiona, Stefan, Marcin. Right, we're all here. As Irene said, and as Ronald said also at the beginning, and some of you who may have been at the meeting yesterday where the mission were again presented, the missions are completely new in the setting of research and innovation, and therefore the way that we are meant to work is completely different from the way that we have already been trying to find strategic orientations for research and innovation. So the way we started working at the mission board, we met on the 3rd of September, was first, of course, to get to know each other and to find at least some major topics that we found common in our hearts that would be important. However, before we dwelt further into the different ideas, it was important that we had a complete, let's say, open mind, or even a complete blank mind, before we have taken all your ideas and all your wishes into account. So before we start working, and we're starting really working this afternoon and tomorrow morning, we wanted first to be able to get your input on some areas, and the areas Irene has just underlined them. They cover, I think, everything around cancer, before, during, and after. So anybody who wishes to say anything can be able to provide the ideas and their wishes during this meeting. Of course, many of you have already sent through your associations, because most of you are representative of associations or bodies or ideas, have sent them already to us, to the chairs, to the unit. And so we're already taking into account what you think is the orientations of a mission board cancer. So we're very happy to listen to your ideas today. It's going to be a bit of a complex situation, because you have to bring out your ideas in less than half an hour. We would like to have one person from each group to be able to present in the consensus meeting afterwards the priorities that you find are important topics to talk about together. And then we will ask you with the Slido to be able, on all the topics that are important for all the groups, to be able maybe to get a consensus from all the group of your priorities. So once again, for us as mission boards, it's important that we know exactly how to drive research orientations for innovation that will really have a strong impact for cancer patients. And for this, we really need to know right from the start where we stand and what you want. So this is the reason for today's meeting, and we're very happy to listen to your input. Thank you.
So now it's really time for you to discuss. So maybe before we do that, we should see which group is discussing what. So there should be two groups working on etiology and prevention, so the before cancer. So maybe the representative of the mission board, maybe you can introduce yourself as well. We should have had a microphone there. Okay, so there was before cancer. That is the second group of before cancer. Okay, we need to run the microphones. So we have a second one. Yeah, yes. Let's start with the first one there. Barbara?
Okay. My name is Marcisle. I'm from Latvia, and we are two groups. I'm giving to moderate first of the group working on etiology and prevention. Mm-hmm.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Fiona Godfrey. I'm second moderator on prevention, and I'm from IFA here in Brussels.
Okay. Then we have the two groups on during the cancer, so improved cancer therapies. Sure.
Hi, I'm Serban Giorgio from UK and Romania, and we'll focus on what we can do for patients with cancer now, how we can provide better cancer treatment.
Okay, and the second group?
Good morning, Elisabeth Wederpaas from the International Agency for Research on Cancer and on the Mission Board.
Okay, thank you. And then we have the third group, which is after cancer, so the cancer survivors.
Okay, I'm Annelise Dyhr. I'm the Secretary General of the Norwegian Cancer Society.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Konrad Rydzyński from Noffer Institute of Occupational Medicine from Lodz, Poland.
Okay, so thank you. So then you know the board members who are here and will be in your groups. So you will now have 30 minutes to discuss in your group what you would consider sort of the most important issues that should be tackled. And we want you to come up with maximum 2-3 key ideas that we will ask you to present in about 30 minutes. So it's really for you now to start discussing, identify who will present the 2-3 ideas that you will come up to, and the floor is yours. Time for you to discuss. Good luck.
Yes, that's a microphone that normally you can.
Ah ouais.
changer avec la compagnie. Mais ils travaillent juste en plus de l'autre côté.
This was very dense. So just a second. So first, the quantity cell was this was very dense. I'm not sure I captured everything. So let me repeat to see if I understood what you said. So first the priority is you said find the qualities of the health I assume is access to drugs. This is what we are considering. Early diagnosis and screening, assess the innovation, ability to exchange data, assess the therapy, survival, pediatric needs as a model foundation, receive review of and elsewhere, quality evaluations and more studies of recommendations, basic assistance, regular intervals, for 5 years, patient's perspective, low quality of hospitals, connection hospitals, protection of survivors, this everything. Accreditation.
Part of
She will be in this line and I will be in this one. Yes.
So maybe you can help me that show the key messages. So that the notes in the back can write to Slido. Will you say 20 times the 5 minutes? Yeah. We're going to go to 9:35. Okay, Katja and Jan are ready. Jan is already going to type that.
Oui, c'est le micro. On en a deux en fait. Ça, normalement, c'est un micro. Il est pas comme ça qu'elle est de ce côté-là. Non, c'est très léger. Ah, super. On va essayer celui-là. On a les deux. Donc elle est de ce côté-là pour passer à ce côté-là. Et moi de ce côté, c'est pas... Oui, oh, c'est pas 3 mètres. Non. Mais je vais essayer au mieux de l'arranger.
So my name is Simon, I'm from Science Business. For the last 3 years we've run Canada to be a platform on measuring outcomes. And it seems to me that actually the mission has an important role in shaping public debate. So in the context of improved public health, there's a much richness happening how people whether that's the technology value assessing or a set of systems and communications or member
So I just recap the key messages of my culture. If I miss something so the first idea was to use better existing infrastructures such as so the other ideas were so this exercise shared because that's why it's a comprehensive proposal. So it's not only working innovation, brainstorm that here because we're talking about the population perspective. Divisions will promote HIV and quality of care, and that there should be always a connection between the hospitals, treating divisions, and the GP for appropriate follow-up. And then supervision, they are related to the crimes of hospitals. And then there are several other issues in breaking down systems of innovation across the but not saying that's a problem for years. And then it was a lot of ideas about ecosystems. They need ecosystems about what's available in terms of knowledge and then we have a discussion about decreasing done. There were several ideas, but this chapter was the success. And then there was a final idea. One of the proposals was that the mission board should be connected with the states to guarantee
La première. Ah, le avec sa cravate à livres, rouge et noir.
So I would like to let you know that it's 5 minutes left. It's getting really hot in here, and we see intense discussions, which is great. 5 minutes left, so we will now ask you to really summarize the key messages, 2-3 messages. You should try to keep them quite short, because while you will present those 2-3 key messages from your group, colleagues will try to catch that and get into Slido so that we can have votes on them afterwards. So we give you 5 minutes to summarize the discussions.
Yes, it works. I think it's okay.
But Christine will need her microphone. Unless
No, no.
Christine need it.
Yes, I do. Well,
She will need the microphone. Yeah, they have Okay, guys. Time is up. I see a lot of intense discussions, which is great. So, but we'll need to wrap up what you have discussed so far. And of course, after the session, you may want to continue to discuss. There will be coffee and there will be space outside, so you can continue to reflect. But now we try to wrap up what you have discussed so far. So we will get colleagues to get ready, because we will really try to capture. I'm sorry, guys, at the table to the right. Are you ready? So we will start. So the way we're going to do this is that we will ask table by table to come forward with their 2-3 key messages, short and concise. Christine will try to echo back very quickly what she heard you saying. Colleagues in the back will try to capture what you're saying into something that can go into Slido. And when we have gone through all the tables, we will then ask you to vote. So, ready to start? So we start with the first table on the before cancer, etiology and prevention. So, who is ready to go first? Okay. So I think you have a microphone in the back, so you don't need to. You can use the cube. Yep, that's a microphone.
Okay, I'll try to do the best. And we had really a great group and great ideas that have been said, but I'm sorry to say that we couldn't limit to 2 or 3 key messages. We have 4 key messages, if you don't mind. And the message number 1 was addressing inequities. And first of all, this is in the areas of prevention, standard of care, also in the research capacities and gender as well. So the second message was screening and early detection, and that is closely related to implementation research and also is topics like cost effectiveness evaluation and addressing ineffective prevention methods and many others. The third one was research infrastructure, and it could be very closely, or at least it would include the structures like comprehensive cancer centers or comprehensive cancer networks, big data, including collection of the big data by different means, including also the cancer registries and biobanks as well. And the fourth topic was the basic research that we would recommend to be concentrated on etiology, not too much support to the pharmaceutical development in this field. And then we did have smaller topics that are attributable to any of those, including childhood cancer, real cancer, behavioral and social psychological support aspects, education, and similar. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Christine?
I don't know what I got myself into here. Do not feel as though I'm biased and only listening what I want to hear. But I think it's already been quite well synthesized. What I understood was the primary objective was addressing iniquities. Iniquities that can be seen throughout different topics I've heard, including gender and, of course, childhood cancer. The link of research to screening, detection, and cost effectiveness. And there was a good, I think, summary of the need of getting everything together, big data, registries, biobankings, and probably regrouping this in the needed infrastructure to be able to have it centralized.
Okay. Was that right? Well captured? Hope so. Next group. Okay.
Okay, and I hope that we have captured very well what the group discussed. In our group, we started from thinking about an objective from a prevention point of view for the mission. So what we said is that the objective would be to have a healthier generation that stays healthy longer and where disease can be intercepted as early as possible using population-level interventions, but also new interception technologies. The second message that we would have is that we need to assess big data, small data, personalized information, but also from an ethical perspective and respecting people's privacy, citizens' privacy. And then finally, we talked about the need for evaluating interventions and the need for research to prove what works.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Well, that was very easy for me. So new words, which I find interesting. The objective, which is nice to hear, a healthier generation. The word intervention and research and intervention, evaluation of intervention. The words of needed inter-sector research. And the adjective linked to data, which was personalized data, which I find interesting.
Okay. We then move to the during cancer.
Yeah, so this
Okay.
is our group here in the front, and some of the ideas already came forward, so I will try to summarize the other ones. First one was to streamline the process of drug development, avoiding duplication of efforts, using existing infrastructures and honest brokers to be defined. And also this comes together with a better definition of outcomes for trials and other interventions, and sharing knowledge across member states of what works or not, and I assume at which price as well. So a value assessment of new technologies and treatments, knowledge-based. So the second, it was a group of ideas that was, again, to fight inequalities across European countries. I think this came from the first group, including for early diagnosis, screening, and treatment, including access to innovation or innovative therapies, and ability to exchange data, and to guarantee access to standard therapy across all member states that would ensure improved survival. Pediatric tumors were put forward as a model to be developed by the mission that could be applied also to other diseases such as rare cancers, amongst others, so that pediatric cancers could be used as a model. And then the tool, how to achieve better treatment in Europe, would be to work with comprehensive cancer centers that should be established in each European country, at least one per country. And in very large countries, that we would recommend about one comprehensive cancer center for about 5 million people. And then these comprehensive cancer centers should work in a network of centers to guarantee quality. And then that it should be an accreditation process by a certified organization to make sure the quality is there. From the patient's perspective, what patients want to know for treatment is which hospitals or clinics offer good quality treatment. This needs to be communicated in a clear way, and there should be a connection between the hospital treatments and the GP for long-term follow-up. And that should be a protection for quality of life during treatment as well as for survival. And then a final thing that I think we all were in agreement, that we should break down the silos for innovation and create friendly ecosystems for new treatment developments. I hope I captured most of what was discussed.
Okay, thank you. Christine?
Okay, so I'll try and highlight the new topics that we're hearing. So here is the necessity to not forget that a lot of work has been done already. So lean on existing infrastructures, lean on existing data from new treatment trials, for example. The second topic, once again, is to fight inequalities, which we already heard, both for screening and treatment. And then there was the need of creating across Europe centers, networks that could be reference for patients, for standardized treatment, good guidelines for treatment, and for all these topics, or maybe across them, I don't know, rare cancers, including pediatric cancers, could be used as a first model.
Okay, thank you. Then we have the second group dealing with during cancer.
Hi, a really great group here, loads of great ideas. In the end, we focused on 3 main areas. One is integration and harmonization across Europe. And when we speak about integration and harmonization across Europe, we speak about treatment care multidisciplinary teams. We speak about legal aspects, funding aspects, treatment practice, outcomes, ability to compare outcomes, research, databases, integrated databases, everything to be done in an integrated manner across Europe. Second one is about research, and here we speak about aiming to get critical mass and to get the best out of the whole Europe in an integrated effort. And here we've spoken about translational research, about clinical research, about new trials, new products, understanding how the new products will best serve patients. And the third aspect is about precision medicine, which was very much around the right treatment, right patient, right time, right product. So the three key areas: integration and harmonization across Europe, integrated research across Europe, and precision medicine.
Okay.
Anything that I missed?
Okay, thank you. Christine?
I'm not quite sure I need to summarize. I think it's well summarized. No, just I put my little flavor. Once again, across Europe, the word multidisciplinary, which we've heard differently with intersector, I think for the treatment, multidisciplinary is probably the right term. The use, of course, of using Europe's potential data for research, for statistical analysis, and the patient being the center of trials of precision medicine. I said it the other way around, but I think we agree. Okay?
Okay, thank you. So then we move to the last two groups, so the after cancer. So, give the floor to you here in the corner.
Okay. Do I need to? I can hold it like this, like a small baby. Yes, you will hold it. Okay. We have 4 areas of words. The one and first and very important one is quality of life. Being a survivor, and quality of life is of course side effects, but it's much more than that. It is also your mental health. It's also coming to the labeling of you having been a patient in regard of insurance rights, other things. It's also seeing the family. It's not only the survivor, him or herself. It's the stigmas that follows you and are there. So there's a lot of things around quality of life. And of course, in research in these areas, it's very important to involve the user, the survivor, as always. And one perspective is in research in this area is to see the children and with cancer and see the way they survive and the side effects and the life they are living afterwards. So that is one area. The other one is health literacy. This is something we talk about globally, but we know that when it comes to cancers, the health illiteracy is too high. Being the individual, being the organizations, being the politicians, being the bureaucrats. And it's in many areas also when it comes to digital illiteracy, but the main thing also is inequality in society. To do something about that, access to a better health for all, health literacy is a very important area. And then we talked about health data, collecting data, but we talked about we need to do it much more from the survivors, from those that are don't have cancer any longer or live with cancer, and because they can tell how the treatment worked, the effect of treatment, and they can also, they or us, can also tell might have other priorities or what's important or not. So to collect data from survivors is really important. Last part, we also talked about palliation. Palliation also being a part of really quality of life if we define palliation not only as something in the very last part of your life, but something that goes along with you. Even if you have survived cancer, it might be that your life, the way with side effects, other things, palliation is also a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. So a couple of new areas coming on here.
Yes, definitely. And one which I thought I'd start with that one, which I thought really important, is that for research in improving quality of life, we need to start with the survivors themselves, and they're the ones who will be able to define with us the research field. So we need to ask the survivors, so they're really at the center of this topic for the moment. Of course, in other topics, this research leaning on survivors, I think, was also crucial in the inequality, which came out also in this session. Inequality being highlighted by the difficulty of understanding health, science, digital information, and of course, even a survivor is, of course, maybe linked with the side effects. Inequality is important in this part. And yes, survivors are also faced with maybe an end of life, and research in ways to go forward with palliative care is also crucial.
Thank you. So, last but not least, the group in the corner there.
Well, I think in the connection what was said in the previous panel, the main discussion in our group was concentrated on the need of the kind of register of the late cancer, of the cancer survivors, because the problem is that we have cancer registers, but afterwards we don't have. I mean, those patients disappeared to some sense, and we cannot base on the registered on the register, on the data from the register. We cannot give good recommendations from societal, psychological, and other problems cancer survivors meet. Also, there was a discussion on the modernization of the clinical trials, because they are very much concentrated just on the product, but a lot of data could be gathered for on which we can construct some actions or some conclusions on the prevention activities or the therapy. And also we were discussing of importance of return to work of cancer survivors. There is a need of a lot of research how to bring cancer survivors back to the society, back to work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Christine?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Do you want to?
No, just to summarize, basically the social aspects, so social needs for cancer survivors, what you just said. Also about the data, so need for better data, longer term follow-up on the clinical trials, for example, as in the pediatric cancer. Also, very important on the multidisciplinary and integrated approach on survivorship, so mental health, nutrition, and so on. And I think one final comment from also the patient association and charity groups to turn research into programs. And rehabilitation, sorry, very important key points. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. So, Christine?
What I understood, so yes, a registry of survivors, which I think is also linked to the fact that we need to gather as much data as possible of the survival of the patients that we have in the clinical trials. because this would be able to lead to better informations. And then, of course, return to work. So I think that's easy to understand. And I think what's important, which probably summarizes everything here, is the need to link the research results to a strong implementation of programs.
Okay, so that was really a fantastic stock-taking exercise. And this really gives the mission board really food for thought for their further discussions. So thank you very much for really being good sports and really contributing a lot. Looking at the colleagues in the back who are working on the Slido issues, are we ready to go? Yes? So you should soon then have a display going on the screen here. Ooh, it's very small, but I will read them to you, and I hope you have downloaded, because now it's your turn to vote. So what are the top priorities for the theme of the etiology prevention, so the before cancer? So basic research, addressing inequalities, screening and early detection, research infrastructures, and healthier generation. So time for you to vote. Okay, it's still moving a bit, but I think we have a fairly clear winner. Ooh. Okay. Screening and early detection is kind of stable around 65 plus minus percentage, followed by big data, personalized data. Third is addressing inequalities, and then evaluating interventions. Basic research and research infrastructures and healthier generation. Okay? Shall we go to the second? Sorry, it's still counting? Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. So I think we still have the same order. So it's just sort of marginal. I think we should move to the second. So the second one is, which are your top priorities for the theme of improved cancer therapies, streamlined drug development, value assessment, rare and pediatric cancers as models. I didn't have time to read all of them. Value assessment, precision medicine, cancer centers in all member states in a network, accreditation, guidelines, information of patients on quality, friendly ecosystems for treatment. I think I read all of them. It was a bit difficult because it was moving as I was trying to read them. You were quick in voting. Okay, I think we have a fairly stable result here. So the top on the leaderboard is integration of research and treatment efforts across Europe. Precision medicine, cancer centers in all member states in a network, more or less equal with streamlined drug development, and then comes value assessment. Then comes rare and pediatric cancers as model, accreditation guidelines, information of patients on quality, and friendly ecosystems for treatment development. So it's still moving a little bit, but it's the same order of your choices. And if I understand well, there are 90 people who have voted on this one. Okay, so shall we go to the next one? So here comes, which are your top priorities for the theme of cancer survivors, quality of life, side effects, avoid label of patients and stigma, health literacy, collecting health data from survivors, modernization of clinical trials, link research results to implementation, return to work rehabilitation, need to register cancer survivors data, health literacy, palliation, also as survivor. I think I already said modernization of clinical trials. I think I read all of them. Okay, so I think it's fairly stable. So top on the list is quality of life, side effects, avoid label of patients and stigma. Second is collecting health data from survivors. And third is link research results to implementation. Need to register cancer survivors data, return to work, rehabilitation, health literacy, modernization of clinical trials, and palliation also as survivor. Okay, do we have more questions? No? One more. One more. Okay, so have we covered all main issues? If not, what is missing? So now I think you can type freely. Oh, okay, and also, of course, everything that you put in, we will keep. Mm-hmm. Yes. We talk about the same thing, I'm pretty sure. So it's an area which has a lot of different names. In a sort of European level, we talk about personalized medicine. We actually even have a definition in Europe, but we know precision medicines is also fairly much used, and also individualized medicine. But I agree with you that we try to keep it at personalized medicine in Europe. Okay, so here comes questions. I'm not sure the contributions coming in, so keep them coming. Okay, I don't think I can read all of them, but we will keep them, all of them, that's for sure. So I think we have more or less come to an end. There are a couple of new things coming on here. Application of artificial intelligence in cancer. I saw something about the General Data Protection Regulation. Okay. And how will the Cancer Mission integrate with the European Cancer Plan? And I think that's a really good one, because you may know that the President-elect has, in her vision for Europe, proposed that there would be a European action plan for cancer. And of course, the work of the Cancer Mission will, of course, contribute to that plan. So all the work that you are doing now, we will also capture and feed forward to make sure that this also is captured in this plan. So you're actually contributing to both aspects here, which is really important. Another one, use continuum of care as a basis. Capacity building and training. That was not mentioned by any group before, I think. That's another. Okay. Global initiative. Okay. I think we will hold it there. You can continue to add things. I think what's really important for you to know is also that the consultation on Horizon Europe is still open. If you have not yet provided a contribution, please do so. It's open until the 4th of October. You have also in your app for this event, the RNI Days, you also have a part where you also can contribute. We really appreciate the time you have taken to be with us here this morning, and in particular that you have been so actively contributing. The work that you have done this morning will be carried forward with the board members into their discussions. They will meet this afternoon and tomorrow. Tomorrow we also have another session with member states representatives to further work. So it's really, really important that we take stock of everything that has been discussed, see how that can be shaped and proposed into the cancer mission, and what may not fit into the cancer mission we will forward to the cancer action plan. And I'm sure that you have a lot more things you want to talk about. I would propose that we do that outside. There is coffee around the corner. There are tables around. So feel free to continue the discussions. I think the mission board members will stay around for a little bit longer here, so you can continue to discuss with them. I have seen that during the meeting, we actually have been joined by 2 more mission board members. I think we have Martin Picard, who is over there, and we have Tommy sitting over here. So there are even more board members to talk to. So thank you so much for actively participating, and continue the discussions, and we will try to capture everything. Thank you so much.